All right. Hey everyone, this is Diamond Rivera of the Live Discussions with Diamond podcast, all the way here in New York City. And tonight we have a really special episode. But before we get started, this episode is sponsored by Bachata Radio, where you can go to tubachataradio.com and listen to this interview in high quality. As well, we are available on YouTube, Spotify, and other streaming platforms. And tonight, people, I am really thankful, honored, pleased to announce that we have really one of the new generation of dancers here that for me has been taking honestly our states by storm for the past couple years, from his many groups that he's performed with his amazing teaching style, especially with bachata fusion. Here today, people, I want to announce that we have the one and only, all the way from Chicago, Mr. Angel Ivan Cruz.
What's
What's
cracking?
up, my brother,
What's
man?
good? What's
How's
good? What's good?
everything?
Good, man. Staying healthy, staying blessed. How about you?
I'm doing good. I'm staying blessed like yourself. For me, like you've seen with these podcasts, I'm getting to know the very artists that I admire, such as yourself, a lot more, and realizing, like, hey, even through everything we're going through, it's always good to catch up with these artists and, give a chance for people to understand you guys so much more for than what you just do on a stage. But, for me, it's so important having the artists like yourself know that someone cares and someone really wants to know your story rather than just what you did on a stage somewhere. So for me, again, I'm really thankful that we get to have you on tonight.
Thank you, man. It's good to be here.
Absolutely. I mean, Chicago's representing to the fullest over here, I see.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, for me, like I've told you also privately, with Chicago that I've known for many years, with people like Zeke, people like Kimberly Rivera, people like Rocky, and really the list goes on. Chicago for me has really been a hotbed, a place that just has so much history, whether it's music, whether it's sports, and also with dancing, whether it be salsa, bachata, cumbia, you name it. I think Chicago has really been, again, like I said, a hotbed and a breeding ground for some of Chicago's most amazing dancers. And I would say, including yourself. I mean, I would say as well, tonight we're going to get a chance to understand really who Angel really is, as well as the dancer that everybody knows who Angel is as a person. So for me, again, it's a great time, a great moment that we can connect even though it's virtual, having this opportunity, getting to know you. So in the future, when we do get to meet, it's like old times for sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. I mean, and like I always love starting these interviews and these discussions, kind of having the artists like yourself take us all the way back, help us understand really who Angel is and was before dance. So kind of take us on a journey of what was your upbringing like before kind of dance came into your life?
So where do I start? Let's start with just dance wise, right? So I was the kid who would go to like weddings and would just be in the middle dance part doing his own little thing. That's where it started. Then from there, my mom and my parents are Puerto Rican. So we used to be in Humboldt Park, and Humboldt Park's basically like this like big park with all the Puerto Ricans. Everyone used to just like go there, play dominoes, picnics, the whole shebang. And my mom used to go there because my grandpa and my grandma lived right by the park, and so we go visit sometimes. And every once in a while there'd be a picnic, right? But when I was a kid, what they used to do is they used to have cardboard boxes, right? Just like in the middle of like the grass, right? And then there'd be somebody with a boom box, and like they're probably like 30, 40 people like surrounded around there, right? And what I used to do is I used to see these. I'm like, what are they doing? And my mom would be like, oh, they're dancing. I'm like, they're dancing. Let me go check that out. So I used to like go there and crawl through like the legs and get through and finally just be there. And I would just sit there and watch these like amazing artists, because they wouldn't just do hip hop. Like they'd be break dancing. They'd be dancing salsa. They'd be doing all types of weird stuff. And I thought that was cool because everyone got to showcase what they could dance like just there in the heart of Chicago. Like there was no such thing as technique. There was more just about freestyles, about going with the music, about your musicality. And I think that was kind of like the pivotal point of my dancing mindset to say, you know what, this is pretty cool. This is fun because I got to see people from the hip hop side that did things that like I had never seen before, like spinning on the heads and like doing all these crazy helicopters and flipping and like taking the shirt off, but while they're like spinning on their heads, like just all these crazy things, you know. And that's where it all started, man. And then from there, so the reason why I dance is because of a girl, of course.
It happens.
Because I was 16 and I was dating this girl. It was my first girlfriend I ever had. I was like, you know what? She's gonna be my everything. We're gonna get married. It's gonna be great. That's not how it happened. So she's like, she asked me, it's her quinceañera. She asked me to dance. And I'm like, no, I'm not dancing. And it's bachata too, right? And she's like, come on. And like, I'm sitting on a bench and she's like pulling my arm. She's like, come on, let's go. And I'm like, no. I'm like, she's like, come on, it's my birthday. You have to go. And I was like, no. So she's like, come on. So she gave me one last big tug. And I just like pulled back and I said, no, I'm not dancing. So then she goes, fine, I'll dance with somebody else. Oh, I was like, oh. So then she went. I don't know where she went. She like went in the front of the house or something, and she grabs this guy, and they just started dancing bachata. And I remember just sitting there staring, thinking in my head like, wow, like this is the most beautiful dance I've ever seen in my life. Because I didn't even know what bachata was. I'm like, what's bachata? And the dancing just that close, like close position bachata, just all hips, and it was beautiful. Yeah. And then so where it started, it was kind of like kind of a dark place because I was like, you know what? I never want to feel insufficient as a man. I never wanted to feel like I could not either provide for my woman or to be able to like, give her something that she wanted, especially on her big day. Yeah. So from then I just was like, all right, gotta learn how to dance. No ifs, ands, or buts. That was me. But when I was younger, like I was chubby and like I didn't really like, weird about my body. It didn't really fit into a bunch of groups because like, I don't know, I just didn't fit in. Like I just was kind of like a little strange. And then, yeah, man. And then in high school, I joined the Latino club by mistake because one of these girls that I kind of had a crush on, she was like, come on, like, let's go to join Latino club. And I'm like, oh, sure, whatever. And actually my first routine I ever did was a salsa routine. And when I tell people that, they're like, but you're a bachatero. I'm like, yeah, I'm a bachatero, but my dad was a salsero. So, and I used to watch my dad when I was younger because he used to be, he was a biker. Gosh. So he would go to this club in Chicago called Llama. And it's like in the heart of Chicago. And he used to go down there and he used to like, every Friday they would have like a little party and then they play salsa. And he just would be just banging out there. Like he would go dance with one girl, go dance with two girls, and then lo and behold, three. And then afterwards, the sun cut off to go to the bar, and everyone's by him by the bar, and he's like, "Yeah, that's my son." And like, it was cool, man. Like dance for me has always been this like this fun time of expression, like. But whatever that expression is, it could be happiness, it could be sadness. So, but I can go on about stories and stories, but that's kind of really how it all kind of molded together.
Wow, I think it's amazing too, and I think it's interesting, like you said. How you started, it was off of kind of a dark moment after, I'm assuming, of course, your ex as having a quinceañera. And I think a lot of dancers actually start out that way, especially ones that didn't have an interest in dance. Most of the time, either a girlfriend or a friend has you part of a quinceañera where you're kind of being choreographed, and then some people kind of take a liking. But then, like you said, with bachata, there was that style that kind of like, whoa, what is this? This is interesting. But then you said joining the Latin club. And as well, myself, I was part of the Latin club in my high school, realizing that kind of cultural influence. And it's really dope to hear because you are another one of those dancers or bachateros that I know that actually started in salsa. And it's just a very intriguing note, realizing many of the bachateros and bachateras we know started with salsa. I find it very interesting and intriguing. So now realizing you kind of got your foot in the door in a sense. You kind of got your feet wet of understanding this. What kind of got you more into bachata? Was it after this moment you were like, hey, I need to find a club or a social or a class? What was that like?
It was weird. It was like I started. So I would backtrack just a little bit of how it all started. So after the whole girlfriend situation, I was like, all right, I gotta find out, right? So I would so back then, like if you were to watch a movie, like a 2-minute movie, it would take like 2 hours to load. So it used to be awful. But for some reason, and we didn't have Wi-Fi at my place, like for some reason, my phone would work. So I would actually so I'd actually go on YouTube and I'd like sit there and look at Ataque Alamana videos when I was a kid, and I would just like replay. I'm like, okay, let me see this move. Okay, he stepped the left foot. Okay, cool. And I'd sit there in front of the mirror for about 3 hours a day doing that until I was like, I don't know, like 17, 18. I'd come home, I'd be like, all right, I'm practicing. Okay, I'm practicing. And that was kind of like where it kind of started to, it was like, okay, if I'm going into high school, I have to know how to dance. That's no biggie. If I go to a homecoming, I gotta be on fire. And I didn't just want to be somebody who could just do their basics. I wanted to be somebody who I could do a turn, I could dip her. Like I wanted to be cool, you know. I wanted it to be like fun, fresh. Like I want to dance with that guy, you know. Like that was the whole vibe. And then as I got older, you know, college happened. Like I started growing up. Life was like kind of like cool. And then I started joining. You know, I joined Island Touch. And that's kind of where I got the roots of kind of how everything works, how it operates. Because when I first started dancing bachata, I taught when I first started learning, I didn't learn from anybody. Like there was no one that like taught me, okay, this is your 1, this is your 8, this is this. And I was like, what's the point of counts? Because in my mind, I was like, if you're an artist and you're creative, you're constantly cultivating your own style of dance and your own movement, because that's what it is to be an artist.
Yes.
And I was like, cool, so there's no such thing as counts. But there is such thing as counts.
Yeah.
I was horrifically wrong because I was young, I was dumb, and you know, I'm just learning life. And it's you know, it happens. So then from there, I kind of started learning my counts kind of from there, and I would argue with Kimberly about like there's no purpose of it. You don't need to learn counts. And she would just yell at me. She's like, yes, you do need to learn your counts. Like you do, because it's like if you're in a classroom and you're trying to teach somebody that, you can't just go ta 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 tum pa pi pa. Then they'll be like, what the fuck is a ta ta? Well, that doesn't make any sense, right?
Yes.
What I didn't like is that because in our Latin culture, we teach each other based on counts, but in hip hop, they teach each other's based on sounds.
Yes.
So they go zoom, sa, boom, ba ba ba. But we have all these technical terms in the Latin community, which is very, very good, because I think we need to have it. Because I feel like when it comes to dance, we talk about ballet and people talk about Latin dancing, which is down here. But I would definitely disagree. Like that. And I think the reason why we have to start labeling these things and start giving these, like, you know, technical terms is because we need to be held on the same podium as ballet, because we're just as technical. It is just as hard. There's nothing like, you know, ballet is really, really hard, hands down. But not to say Latin dancing isn't. But I'm not going to go on that tangent. Let's backtrack. So then I joined that team, and then I joined Alamana afterwards. And that was great. Like I wasn't huge into La Malatina, but one of my friends was like, yo, like we need an extra lead. Like I need you to, because she's like, because my partner dropped out. We have a performance on Saturday. Like I need you to learn it. So I learned the whole routine on a Friday from it took me like 4 hours to learn it.
Wow.
And I learned it, and then the next day I performed it. And it went pretty good. You know, it didn't, I did mess up one time, you know, because I think that was like the second or third time I was on stage, so I was a little nervous, but it went great. You know, I had such a good time. It was good to be up there, you know, in costume and t-shirts, and like, you know, up there as a group, everyone doing the same thing. So so from there, I was like, okay, cool. And I kind of saw how everybody did their own thing, and like everyone was fun. But I was like, man, there's something missing about bachata. There's just something. And even when I saw like you know, Ataque Alamana, I thought they were great and they were amazing. But I always loved hip hop. Like hip hop, something about it was so liberating. There was so much freedom and so much ability to be yourself, because there were people in hip hop that were fat, that were skinny, that were short, that were tall, that were muscular, but it didn't matter. It just mattered about how you moved your body. And then the more I started taking hip hop classes, I realized it was not just about hip hop. It was about self-development, about improving
Yes.
your mind and how you feel about yourself. And I thought that was beautiful. And then when I went to, the Latin side of it, I'm just like, okay, but we're only talking about counts. We're only talking about technique here. Why are we not talking about breathing? Why are we not talking about, all these other aspects of it? And that's because this is how we teach bachata. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. That makes more sense. But I don't want to teach just bachata. I want to teach something bigger than bachata.
Yeah.
No, what is that? Well, you can't call it bachata, so you got to call it something else. So I'm not quite bachata. I'm not quite hip hop. So I'm a bachata fusion, right?
Yeah.
Then you got to give it a name. What's the name? I don't know. Let's take bacha. Let's take bacha. Let's take hop and put it together. So I came up with a name for it, bacha hop. Because I kind of gave it a ring. It was very simple, very easy to spell. A lot of people couldn't pronounce it at first. Who was the funniest one I've gotten so far? Bacha hop. That's when I got so far. And I was like, well, you get a bat. Wow, that's
yeah.
But yeah, man, that's kind of where I started. And then from there, I just kept being myself, because in my mind, I'm like, okay, I need to be technical. I need to know what I'm talking about, but I also gotta be able to be myself. And what I am at my heart is I'm a hip hopper. I'll always be a hip hopper.
Yes.
But I love bachata so much that like I just want to I don't know, I just want to continually dancing, but also want to be fusing things, because it's like, if I'm gonna be myself as a dancer, what am I doing to uplift my community as a whole, right? If you talk to anyone who's take my classes, I don't just talk about counts and technique, which is super important. I also talk about where's your mind at when you're dancing these moves. Who are you looking at? Like, I think I taught a class in Miami at UV, and the first thing I talked about is I set aside the leads and the follows. And I was like, leads, what's the number one thing that follows run into? What's the biggest problem that they have? And leads are like, I don't know, right? And I was like, all right, follows, what's the biggest problem that leads have? And they're just like, counts.
Yeah.
Yes. Turn patterns. Yes. I was like, but that's not the biggest problem, right? So, you get to that point in that class where everyone's just like, well, okay, well, what's the answer, right?
Yeah.
And the biggest problem, and I didn't get this just solely from social dancing. I read a lot of self-help books. And these self-help books help me to build my classes in order to kind of get people to see it in a broader perspective.
Yes.
So the biggest problem that leads have is about feeling weak. That's our problem.
Feeling inadequate, feeling
Exactly.
weak, and yeah, I know what you mean.
We want to feel like we're in control. We want to feel like we can do it. We want to feel famous. We want to feel big. We want everyone to look at us. We want the girl to have fun. You want to have fun. That's our biggest thing. But also on the different side of the spectrum, the follows, the biggest thing that they have is body image. That's the biggest problem that they have. And to me, when I read that, I was just like, oh my God, this explains so much about not just about us as humans, but about us as dancers, because, we want to get out there and we want to have fun, but it's like, it's kind of hard to feel your own body when you feel insecure about your weight. Or you feel like you don't know your left turn from your right, or you feel like you know your basic, but you're actually off count, and you look at your follow, and your follow's like, what are you doing? And then you're sitting going, I'm embarrassed, she's embarrassed, everyone's looking at me, excuse me, I'm just gonna go die in a hole. I'll be right back,
I mean, and I say this even to say, I think everybody should understand it's just like with the self-help books that you read. A big thing is we are our harshest critics. We are the ones that will put ourselves down before someone else. But I'm loving this conversation because even as we're talking, we're getting comments. And for example, Mr. Benefits Ramos over here showing some love.
What up, Benny?
As well as Mr. Alejandro saying, oh, my boy. And here somebody's saying, what up, peeps? That is Brianna Williams all the way from the Texas area showing some love, as well as Shion Brooks saying, go Ivan, go Baksha Hop. And now understanding this, what I love about your story thus far is that you constantly are saying, well, not constantly, but you're putting in this conversation of being yourself. And I think that's very key, because even though us as dancers, when we're on a stage, there's a character for many of us that we're portraying. There is something on that stage we're giving to the audience. It's reciprocation. But at the same time, you need to keep yourself intact. There's a point where you can lose yourself. And like you said, you loving bachata, you going through teams and learning from these different teams, knowledge of what their styles are, but you evidently growing and saying, hey, I love what I learned, but now let me do something for me. And like you said, you being a hip hop dancer originally, and then going into bachata, you wanted to merge those two genuinely instead of making it, like I say, a gimmick, because that is really what separates you from many other people that would try to do it. Many people would see it and say, yeah, that's something people are going to pay money to come see. But listening to you thus far, this feels this just was a genuine action over time. It was like you were putting together your blueprint, your game plan, and realizing like, you wanted to still do what you love and also add in what you were a part of and meshing those two together. So hearing about Baksha Hop and realizing where it all came from, I completely understand that.
Yeah, it's been a beautiful journey, man. It's kind of confusing when you think about it, as a bachatero, because some people are like, well, that's not bachata. I'm
Yeah.
like, well, if I'm going left on my one, then I'm going five on my right, it's bachata.
But even when you say that, I would say is this, that what people have to understand, you're calling it Baksha Hop. You're already giving it a name. It's different if you were saying you're doing these specific moves that you're doing, your fusion, and saying, this is bachata. This is exactly what bachata is. That's where I think a lot of instructors get things, or the miscommunication and misinformation comes about. Because when people are doing sensual bachata, when they're doing moderna bachata, a lot of times there's certain instructors that fall victim to not fully explaining themselves. And it's just about do the patterns, do the footwork, and you'll learn and you get to do it with other people. But I love is that hearing you're really also educating your students. And that's really important from you being the novice dancer, kind of being left out at 16, having that moment of like, wow, I don't want to be that wallflower. I need to be up there. And now, years later, after your training, now people are looking to you for a source of information. How was that kind of? Did you ever have that time that you kind of like had to sit down and realize, like, oh, I'm doing things completely different now?
Yeah, it was like, it was weird. It was like there was a point in time where I was like, I didn't believe it, like, because this was a thought that I had when I was 16, and now I'm living that dream. It's kind of surreal. I was kind of sitting back and going, well, this is cool, this is fun, this is exciting, but what has changed? What has changed from then and now? And what it was people's reactions, man. Like, some people would come up to me like, oh my God, like, I think I'm gonna use this story. I went to Canada and I danced with this lady, and that night I was having such a horrible night. Like the DJ wasn't playing the right music. I wasn't feeling it. So like 2 or 3 follows asked me to dance, and I told them no. And I felt so bad. I'm sorry. Like, it's not that I want to dance with you specifically. It's just not into the music right now. I'm not really feeling it. I would much rather dance with you, like knowingly wanting to have fun rather than dancing with you and not really feeling it. And then you're just kind of like, blah,
Yeah.
So finally, to get towards the end of the night, they start playing better music. I'm like, okay, I'm feeling it. Let's go for it. And I danced with this lady, and we have a dance. So it's just very, very elegant, nothing too fancy. She was probably at a beginner intermediate level. So I didn't throw anything fancy at her. I just was like, let's just have a good time. Let's have fun. Let's do some body rolls. Let's do some waves. Let's go cool. Let's do some time changes. It'll be great. Dance ended beautiful. Thank you. Have a great night. She messaged me the next day. She's like, hey, I'm writing an article. I want you to read the article because it's about you. And I was like, about me? And because, I'm just doing what I love, and I'm not expecting any recognition for it. I'm just doing it because I enjoy it. So I read this article, and she goes into this beautiful like synopsis about how the dance went. And it was just so elegantly written. She was like, the way he twirled me and the way he did me was amazing and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, wow. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't know I was doing that. And from there it was like, okay, like if an ability has has the capacity to bring this out of someone, that means you have something here. So now, when are you going to start taking it seriously? So about like 2-3 years ago, I was like, you know what, let's start doing this like seriously. Let's put in the work. So I changed my Instagram name, uh, built my Facebook profile, started changing everything in my regular profile, and then I ran into a snag, right? So I now go by Ivan Cruz. Right?
Gotcha.
So there's a reason behind that, yeah. So there's an angel here in Chicago, Angel Rodriguez, who's a phenomenal salsa dancer. Like he can spin about 8 times without
Yes.
even
I
catching the
believe
breath.
Angel was in Gifted Souls, if I'm not.
Yes. That's an angel. There's another angel who does he does bachata fusion, but he does innovative fusion over in LA.
Gotcha.
And he does more of the European bachata. And I'm sure there's got to be another handful of angels that people told me that, they're getting names confused. And what happened is I went to LA and Angel was there and he was social dancing and I was social dancing. And people were giving compliments. But the problem is there's 2 angels in the same place. So you didn't know who the compliment went to. And he had been doing this a little bit longer than I had. And I feel like it would be disrespect for me to take credit for his work. So I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and dial it back a little bit. And let me go ahead and change my artist name to Ivan because it's already my middle name. So my entire family calls me Ivan anyways. And my Ivan, they didn't know my first name was Angel until I got a Facebook page when I was 16. They were just like, who the hell is Angel? It's me. And they were like, oh, cool. Like, so it kind of already went hand in hand. And then I was like, you know what? Backtrack to starting 2 years ago. I was like, you know what? Let me do something. What are we gonna call this? What is this gonna be? You got to give it a brand. So I started working with people around me. I started working with Andreas from Latin Street. He started mentoring me. Just Jacob, who's another DJ, he started mentoring me about like my business plan and what I'm gonna do. And it just kind of started up from there, man. I can't really sit here and take credit for any of the stuff that I've done because I put in the work, but everyone along the way helped me. Like Zeke helped me. Jose Serrano helped me. So everyone, like Angel Rodriguez, has helped me. Like it might not be in a super big drastic way, but I would not be myself if it was not for them. So like when it comes to Bacha Hop, I really thank everybody else because you have built this yourselves too, not just me. Because had I not got got bored, or had I not like gotten pissed off by something, or gotten like I don't know, reacted the way I did, because when I was younger I was kind of very, very dumb. I made a lot of bad decisions in life, in my opinion. But had those things not happened, this would not be here today.
Yes.
So
yes.
I'm really, really grateful for it. But that was the point where everything kind of turned. I was like, you know what? If this article can bring something out of somebody like this, then I need to start taking this seriously. So
I definitely see what you're talking about, because again, it really is those moments that kind of change the outlook on our path, our trajectory as well. Here, giving some love to Miss Martha out here.
Martha,
showing some love as well, all the way from Florida. Man, I know very well, Mr. DJ Fat Tony,
DJ
showing
Tony
love,
crackers.
saying this guy right here has a bright future. And honestly, Tony, I definitely agree just from hearing his story. And what I love again really is your transparency and your honesty. Saying from when you were young, of course, we make those dumb decisions, but it's really how we rebound from them. And like you said, at one moment you're at an event in Canada, and you personally just said you are not feeling it. Things are just not working out in your favor, but you taking that dance with someone kind of really changed everything. And I think those moments always happen for a reason. And for yourself as well, like you said, after then really kind of doing a whole revamp, a whole reinvention, and changing everything from the name. And that makes sense. I mean, many people are named so many angels, I know, so I could understand. But I tell you this, I haven't had that problem with the name Diamond thus far. Not
Because
yet.
it's unique, man. Diamond, you can't get that anywhere else, man.
It's unique until you get female magazines in the mail every, yeah, then it's different. I don't need Cosmopolitan every year in the
Listen,
mail.
you will always have Victoria's Secret coupons. Pass them puppies out.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. And for as well as we're talking, even when you talk about family, you have here your aunt showing some love
Yeah.
as well. Yes, and realizing too, I think, as I would say now, Ivan, realizing that I think a big key point as well was seeing how many people supported you, because you can put out all the effort you want, but for many people, not seeing that reciprocation back, not seeing that support can definitely affect people, because you're putting your all into something. And when people at one point don't see it, it can make you question things. But seeing that you had people that supported your effort because they realized that you were working hard at it, you were revamping yourself, you were reinventing yourself, but also you were still being genuine. You weren't saying, like, I've never danced hip hop before, I've never danced bachata before. Let me just randomly create something while still trying to learn it. That's the difference there. You having experience in both, I think, helped even more, because you built those relationships while you were dancing, while you were traveling. So now it brings me to you now being an instructor and now starting to teach. What were those initial times like for you?
Ooh, when I first started, I was nervous. I would say like the first big gig I ever had was in Hawaii,
Hmm.
and we got there and it was like a big group. It was like 30, 40 people, and we had just been doing all the prep work. We did all the we did a shine, we did partner work, we did the warm up, and like it was so funny because things went horrifically wrong. It was great. Like we're in the middle of the warm up, and I have my smartwatch on, and
Yeah.
my hand hits it and pauses the music middle of the warm up.
Oh man.
And everyone's like, oh, and I'm like, oh, like, no. And but it was great though, because like I know, I feel like my life in terms of just like scenarios, things happen very abruptly, very wrong. But when things go wrong, I don't look at it as like, dang man, like that could have been my big break. That could have been this. Like, no,
Yeah.
it's like it happened. It's funny. It's an experience. Now I love it. Now I can share it with people. And being an instructor, being in that classroom where everyone's staring at you, like you have to know what you're talking about. You have to be able to answer questions and create this atmosphere of welcomeness. Like I always tell my students, hey, if you have a question, say something. Don't feel nervous about being embarrassed. Don't feel weird about it being a bad question or it being a dumb question. There's no such thing as a dumb question, because at the end of the day, you paid for this class. So give exactly what you need from it. I don't want you to just take what I'm teaching you and then forget it that same
Yeah.
night. Take it and try to apply it as much as you can. It may be foreign to you because it's not quite bachata, but it's also something else. But who knows? This can turn into something else. Before you know it, there's gonna be modern. There's gonna be bachata contemporary. There's gonna be bachata ballet. There's gonna be all these different types of bachata, because now what I'm doing is I'm saying, hey, this is a thing.
Yes.
We're doing this now. This is real. Now other people can say, okay, I want to step into to those shoes and I want to do something big too, which is great. But that starts off when you're in the class and you're asking those questions that you don't quite understand. And for a long time, it was kind of weird for me because I was, even still to this day, I still get nervous before I'm about to teach a class. It's
Mhm.
never like I go in and I'm like feeling cool from the swab. Like, no, like I put on the cologne, I put on the clothes, I feel myself, I get into it. But when it comes down to it, I'm still that chubby kid in the mirror who used to learn counts. That's still who I am. But I take that with pride, because I never want my success to get to my head. I don't want to be an arrogant person. I want to be the type of person who you can still approach to and talk to about everyday life things, because I'm just a regular human being. No matter what you see on social media, no matter what people tell you, I will always be Ivan. But before I was Ivan, I was Angel, and before I was Angel, I was Angel Ivan. So
Yeah.
I'm still I'm just a regular human being like everybody else, but I don't want to be put on this. I would like to be very successful in what I do, but I don't want to be have this perception where I'm not human.
Mm. And I love that because you don't want to become like a robot. You don't want to become a copy of someone else. And like you said, um, realizing the style that you kind of created in a sense, you saying, yeah, this is a thing. This isn't something that's just going to fade away. And I believe that because a lot of dancers, whether they're bachata, salsa, especially in our industry, a lot of them have been trained in other styles, such as hip hop specifically. And a good friend of mine as well, that Mr. Luis Alberto, here is showing some love, saying that your
What's
style is
good?
fire. And honestly, I totally agree. I mean, I got to give credit where credit is due. And meaning is because I can tell from my many years of dancing, teaching, performing, for me, I think I have a very good eye and understanding dancers that I feel are genuine and ones that are just looking for the next trend. Because the thing is, I can tell a difference when adversity hits, when there's certain moments that hit and makes you see whether that person is going to be able to overcome or whether they're going to succumb to that and kind of fade out. Because realizing too, I think you've seen over the years and many congresses, festivals that you've been a part of, that maybe some dancers you've seen 5+ years ago maybe are not around anymore. And especially now, even more than ever through COVID and everything. And now that brings me to that really is understanding, especially through COVID, and realizing that a lot of dancers that I remember could not stay relevant and consistent on social media, especially when at one point there weren't socials, at one point there weren't congresses, at one point everything was at a standstill. And I believe dancers like yourself and many others have been able to stay relevant. And that's something that's really key, especially if people want to be remembered, because evidently when things really get back to a full normal, and we're not just talking about one city here, one city there, we're talking about collectively everything getting back to a normal, a lot of these promoters and organizers will be looking at that because me having these discussions with them telling me, hey, we're looking at the artists now that are still putting work out because then when things come back to a normal, people will remember these people. People want to see them again. And realizing you even being from Chicago, you were doing work in Florida and getting support from places like Florida and also abroad. And seeing even before COVID, you were at the Zouk Chata uprising promoting that. And me hearing about that actually through word of mouth through you, seeing posts through that and saying, like, wow, this is I saw you through Winston's video he did for you. And then I was like, I got to keep looking at this person because I told you privately, I remembered you from Alma. Because I was like, there's certain people I could just know. When you start dancing, you have that little style there, but also seeing videos and realizing how much you've grown since, like you said, when you first started till now and seeing the influence you have. And I would say this, even here, I feel that your style is amazing because it's inviting to many people, especially when it comes to bachata. We know it took remixers like Soul Tricks, DJ Paquino, you name it. The list goes on. There's so many DJs out here, especially with the remixes, that actually helped specifically with bachata grow because we realized a lot of the dancers too who we met at these events weren't of Latino or Latina descent. A lot of them were just from different races and different cultures. Like traveling, you're meeting people from all walks of life. And if somebody hears a Ariana Grande remix to a bachata or for example, The Weeknd, often remix that even The Weeknd noticed, and realizing some of these popular songs that we're hearing are now being remixed to the music and sounds that we love. And then you have bacha hop that integrates bachata with hip hop. I think that's something very key because you took that step and you crossed that boundary and you made it stick. And I think that really separates you from many of the artists that I know.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And for me, a question now that I have is just seeing overall how things have gone throughout this past year and even in 2021. And this is before we get into the segment that I have called the randoms. Is what do you really see? Because we understand too. In 2021 now, we're seeing certain events are opening up. Certain events are finding ways, whether it be limited capacity, mask required, having CDC guidelines in place. What do you feel is the future of our dance scene kind of going forward, or maybe even kind of making it broader for the next 2 years, 2 to 3 years? Where do you see our community going?
That's a tough question, man, because it can go so many routes, man. When you think about it from a logical perspective, you would think, okay, everyone, let's get vaccinated. That way we can all dance again, right?
Mhm.
When you think about it from a different perspective, you think, well, wait till everything, the numbers go down and things get okay and we start to balance out, and then we can pick back up.
Mhm.
Another perspective is this thing doesn't even exist. What are you talking about? You're fine. Continue to live life. I think within the next 2 years, I think what we have to kind of realize is we're not washing our hands enough.
Yeah.
For one, we're not doing this when we cough. Yeah. I think just basic hygiene stuff that we should have been taught in grammar school or in pre-K, we just did not utilize.
Mhm.
And the people who govern us, our presidents, also didn't really look at it as a very big thing to pay attention to. So
Mhm.
I think that's the big catch in all this is like, all right, let me wash my hands more often. Let me cover my mouth. If I'm sick, let me not go out. Let me not go to work because
Yeah.
I mean, I come from a culture where we work, 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 work. And if you're sick, you suck it up and you go to work no matter what. You got to make money, right? But you're not thinking about all the people that you can infect on the way there. You're thinking, my bills got to get paid and I have no choice. I take a day off. That's what, $60 or something that I lose out on. So I can't do this.
Mhm.
And what I'd like to see us go back to normal. That's what I'd like. I'd like things to be a little bit more safe. Um, I would like us to kind of like, if we could, I don't know, I have this idea because I'm not thinking 2 years. If you ask me
Yeah.
6 years from now on, like I'd love to like have like an entirely virtual bachata or bachata salsa event where like everyone has a VR on, right?
Mm.
And you are in a whole different world, but bachata world, right? Or salsa world, right? Because you don't have to rent out space for anything, for one, and two, you can create your own avatar, right? I could be 6'4" with all these muscles, and I got the earring with the cross in it. I got the hat that's not gonna fall off, like I got it all. So that's why I see like maybe like I don't know 10, 20 years from now that'd be so cool to have that experience, but just virtually because everyone's gonna be safe. There's no nothing bad can really happen from it other than like some hackers getting into something and getting some information, but that's far in the future. Let's go back to two. um I like to get to a place where it's a little bit more safe. I kind of would want everyone in the dance community to understand that there's different perspectives from behind
Yes.
everything. Like for example, me going to Florida. I got some backlash from some
Mhm.
people. I got a lot of people who supported me. They're saying, you know what, good job. I'm glad you're out there doing what you need to do. And like you said, we can bring it up. So the reason why I went to Florida was because of this. I lost my job back in January, right, of 2020. I took a month off to kind of get my head back in sorts, and I keep it transparent. The reason why I lost my job was because I got fired because my boss had a problem with me having a mental breakdown, and he said that
Mhm.
I should have told him before my shift started that I was going to have a mental breakdown, for one. So that took a while to bounce back from because
Mhm.
someone in business position telling you that your feelings don't really exist and
Yeah.
I should give prior notice to it really kind of knocked me on my ass for a little bit.
Yeah.
So March came along and COVID hit. So all throughout that, I wasn't making any money. I was gaining weight. I was practicing as much as I could. I was having relationship issues. I couldn't go anywhere. All my friends I lost touch with. So I was at a really bad place when it came to, I would say, August, October. I was not feeling very cool. And then I got the opportunity to teach at Unity, a Christian Solas event. And I took it. I was like, you know what? I'm going to be staying at home, not doing anything, feeling sad about myself, feeling sad that I'm not dancing anymore. I'm not social dancing. I need to get out and I need to do something. Now, was it the safest thing to do? Absolutely not. It was not safe. But it was either sit on my ass and go into a deeper depression or get up and do something about it. I chose to do something about it. Now, was it the safest thing? No, again, but it was my health that I had to worry about, not anyone else. But with that same token, I was trying to be as safe as I could. I'll go out social dancing. I'm sanitizing every couple of dances. I always have my mask on. I have people to tell me, why are you wearing your mask? Well, because it's just not safe, blah, blah. But, everyone has their own opinions about it. And that's okay. I accept you for you. We are two different people with two different walks of life. And I love you regardless of where you come from. But where I'm coming from, I just need to be safe because my mom, she got COVID, right? And she recovered from it and she's okay. But even still, when I'm around her, I still try to wear my mask as much as I possibly can because it's like, there's bigger things other than just me, there's other people who I could unintentionally get sick. And it's just not the safest thing to do. Now, am I perfect at this? No. There were times where I went out and then I didn't wear a mask. I didn't feel like it one day. Times where I had a mask on and I took it off to talk. I'm not perfect. I don't claim to be perfect, but it's all about the best intention trying to do it. Now, if everyone else doesn't do it, that's cool. That's everyone else's choice. I don't have their body. I don't control them. They can do whatever they please, but that doesn't mean I should love them any less. I might not understand what you do, but it doesn't mean I can't understand what you're doing from your perspective, not from my own. So, I had someone message me and was like, why are you promoting your event like this? You know how awful you're making it for your followers and you're making it so hard for them to deal with the situation and it's so rude of you. I have a daughter and a wife, and as a studio owner, I think what you're doing is irresponsible. And I was like, I understand. And I think conversations like this need to be had. And thank you for telling me how you feel. But as for me, I have to do what's best for me. And at that time in my life, I had to get up because I couldn't let it knock me down. If I wouldn't went to that event and I wouldn't danced all night, who knows where I would be? It could lead to so many different areas, but because I did that, I was able to not only, feel that inspiration, feel that love, feel that excitement for my passion again, but I was able to shake off all that gunk I had sitting in for the last 4 or 5 months. And then on top of that, I was able to go back to Florida and then continue to pursue my passion and, do a little bit of traveling and teaching more. And when it comes to business, I have to do what's best for me in my business. And my business is bachata. And I can't do that from my couch. I have to get out there. I have to put myself out there. I have to market myself. I have to post every day. These are things that are required in the industry that I'm in. And I have no other choice but to follow that, because if this is my passion and this is what I want to do, I need to take off. And I can't let something like COVID gonna stop me. Now, is it the smartest again? No, but I had no other choice. It was either that or depression. You choose. And if you want to say that it's very unsafe of me, you're right. It is. And I agree with you. But I have to do what's best for me. And what's best for me is getting up and going and doing things and living life and not being in fear 24/7. Yeah, because if I'm in fear, guess what? I'm not even living my life. I'm living my life in fear, not living it. So that's my opinion on it. I can't hear you.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yeah.
All right, sorry. No, mainly was, especially when we talked and I told you my concern, my biggest issue, not just with you in general, doesn't matter the city or state. What happens is, like you said, for you going through that moment of depression, mental health is very real. You saying from your own mouth, saying you took responsibility and accountability for your actions rather than blaming someone else for why you did what you did. And for me, it wasn't about, we can have different opinions and perspectives, but it's us actually talking. It's us actually having these conversations that we can build the knowledge, which turns into wisdom and helps us understand. Because the thing is, and like here it says, someone, Jamie Lipchinsky says, we Floridians aren't too crazy about mask use down here. You do you. And Jamie, that is your perspective. For me,
So I
and
love my Floridians. They just do not care, but that's okay. Like in Florida, it's a different atmosphere. You know, Florida, everything's very spacious. Everyone kind of, it's always hot. You know, it's hard to, want to wear a mask. And I get it. And from a Floridian's perspective, it's right from their perspective. But if you look at it from New York, if you look at it from Chicago, it's like, yo, y'all tweaking. And from our perspective, that is okay. But from them, it's like, when you live in Florida, like about 60, 70 degrees is now cold.
of course, yeah. But I'm gonna say this also about in general with that perspective. Do people wear seatbelts and going in the car because they feel safe? So we can't do that. I mean, I think I understand for your perspective, but then if I want to put it back, the same people in Florida, there are many people I know who have lost family members. I mean, wiped out entire families. 450,000 people are dead plus. And I think also it's accountability and responsibility of the organizers there. It really does not take that much to wear masks for 8+ hours. Actually, for people who wear 8+ hours at a hospital, I don't think for 3-4 hours it should be a problem. But that's also people's perspective and people saying, no, I want to do what I want to do. And for me, again, me having this conversation with you, we need this because it's not about jarring with each other. It's about just understanding. And the thing is, we might not agree. We might agree to disagree. We might agree, but somebody listening to me may not agree. But I want people to understand I'm not here to shut your complete notion down. I'm just here to understand your perspective, just like I would hope you understand mine. My thing is, I just hope for the future, and especially with things going on, and this hasn't stopped, and things for some are getting worse. I'm just hoping as a whole, not just saying Florida. Oh, Florida's not the only one. I've seen LA, I've seen New York, I've seen many places. So I don't want people to think it's only Florida. No, my thing is, as a whole, I just want our community to do better because if we do better, we can get back to a normal sooner.
Yeah.
And realizing too, if we're talking about Tony telling me I always have
Yes.
my mask.
I've never seen Tony without a mask. He's
Am I?
right.
That's Tony. But imagine if people there actually wore it because, like you said, there's times you wear it because it's not about you. It's about the person you stay with. It's about the person you know who may be immunocompromised. And I think people have to understand the biggest notion is that when it doesn't affect them, it doesn't affect them. And that's the biggest difference. My thing is this, as really to close this out, for me, I want you to be safe. I want you to be okay. I want everyone that I've ever met to be okay. Because at the end of the day, I want to be able to come to congresses and events in the future and still see those faces. Because unfortunately, I've lost people in the dance community that I will no longer see. I've had people in New York and Florida and other places, organizers and event people that I no longer do business with because I've seen what they've been doing. But at the end of the day, my focus is I want to be able to see Ivan. I want to be able to see Tony. I want to be able to see the people I want when things are safer because I don't want to go somewhere and God forbid come back, whether it's Florida, wherever, even in New York, go somewhere and have to worry that I made a conscious decision to not do something and it unfortunately affected me. I'm thankful at least seeing that you here, you're good, you're fine. And that's what I'm happy about. And the fact that we can have this discussion, I love it. Instead of just one person saying something and shutting things down. No, that's not how life works. You have to have these discussions because at the end of the day, no matter how we feel, I got love for you and I got love for everyone that I've ever come in contact with because that's what life's about. But, my thing is, hey, man, I really hope in the future that we can all meet up safely and we can all dance with each other and socialize and not have to worry. I mean, I don't know when that time is going to come that everyone is 100% on board, but I hope it comes sooner than later, and for me, I'm hoping that you still are going to constantly get work and you're going to be okay. Because I want everyone who's an organizer, who's a promoter, who's a teacher, get your money, but get your money safely.
Exactly.
Because I've known people who are teachers, got it, and they don't even teach anymore. And my thing is, hey, through us having this conversation, what we're doing is we're building. And what we're doing is we're helping other people understand it's okay to have these talks. Even through everything that's going on, I have more love for you than anything because I'm listening to you. I could never shut a person like you out, ever. Even if we have different beliefs, even if we've gone through different experiences, I always have love for you because you love this community. And for me as well, just seeing people here showing you love, bachata, let's go. And that's as well as Miss Andrea Bermudez saying Florida.
Andrea.
Dude, from coming from Chicago and you have another city, another state that has so much love for you, that's what influence and impact does. Because it's not easy coming from where you come from and really networking yourself, building your brand, and seeing how many people really care for you. I'm thankful that our community has a person like you because 5, 10 years from now, I know you're still going to be around. And I promise you, there are going to be people now creating bacha hype student teams and professional teams and travel.
Oh man,
I'm telling you, I see it. I see it. And before we get to our last segment here, I got to give shout out to Brenda Torres saying, Angel, I love you and can't wait to see you again.
Oh, Brenda, she's adorable. I love you so much.
Absolutely. And now it brings us to our concluding segment called The Randoms, which is about 10 questions that allows myself and the audience to get to know you a little bit better. So my brother, Angel Ivan Cruz, let me know when you are ready.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
All right. Number one, what's your favorite food?
Favorite food? I'm vegetarian / vegan, so I like change my whole diet.
All right.
But I mean, I'm not perfect at it, but my favorite food is Korean barbecue. Like ham. Oh my God, bro.
Dude, like you're in Chicago, I'm in New York, and we have some of the favorite foods that we like. I got even more love for you. I'm a beef type of person. I like my hot pot. So I get down with that.
I love bulgogi. Bulgogi.
Oh, bulgogi beef.
Yes. Oh my God.
Dude. I mean, now I can't wait to see you because especially in New York or wherever, like we're definitely gonna get some Korean food.
Let's go.
For sure. All right, next question. If you could be right now at a Congress or festival event, what is the one song you would have?
Oh, the one song I would have. Oh, that's a hard question. I would say the one song that really kind of like sticks with me and where I came from is Trap Chata by Gavi. Gavii, because he made this song called Trap Chata, and it's cool. It's about like a 5-minute song, but it like starts off with this weird type of bachata. It's bachata.
Yeah.
It doesn't have all the regular instruments that you would have, but it takes you on a journey. And I don't think it's when I listen to that song, it's like I feel like it's hip hop, but it's something bigger because there's points of it where it's just like a violin, and I just love that song. I love the social dancing to that song because like I know the breaks, everything about it. So and plus it's like, man, like you hear a song like this isn't quite bachata, but this isn't quite hip hop. I like it.
I like that. I'm definitely gonna tune into that song. All right, next question would be if you could have one dance, who would be that follow?
Oh, Alamana, of course. Of course.
Give it up.
I've danced with her one time, like one of my, I think I was at CSBF last year, and my buddy walked up to me. He's like, "Yo, here," and I was like, "What's this?" He's like, "Go dance with her," and I was like, like I was like got all emotional, and then I want to dance with her, but it was like the dance lasted like maybe 20 seconds, and then we had to switch, so I never got to really dance.
Yeah.
Like, at least give me a couple basics before I can actually start doing stuff. You
Yeah.
You gotta connect with somebody. So I would say that's the only person. I would love to dance with Desiree. Both of them, the one from Europe and the one that's Alex's partner. I haven't danced
Yes,
with them yet.
Desiree God's.
I have had the pleasure of dancing with one Naisha. That's her name.
Yes.
Yeah, she's phenomenal. Like, but I would say those would be like my top couple of like. All right, I gotta get it in with them real quick.
All right, awesome. All right, next question would be.
The audio is like breaking up a little bit again.
Gotcha. Are you able to hear me now?
No, it's still kind of.
Let me see. Hold on 1 second here. Hold on 1 second.
Cool.
Are you able to hear me now?
Perfect.
All right, we're good to go. All right, next question is going to be hold on, give me a second because we have these kind of written out, and I also changed some questions due to you being a native of Chicago. My next question would be your favorite Chicago team.
Ooh, team. Doesn't matter. It could be whatever sport, right?
Any sport.
I'm a basketball fan, so I'm a big Bulls fan.
Okay, I'm assuming we're talking Jordan Bulls. Are we talking Derrick Rose Bulls?
Are we talking Jordan Bulls? Of course. Come on now. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Rose had a great MVP year. He came, he put us on his back, but once those knees popped out, that was that. It was a wrap.
So, it's okay. We got him in New York now, so I mean, hopefully.
Yeah, right. He just got traded. Yeah.
I know. All right, awesome. Next question would be, what's your spirit animal?
Oh, my spirit animal is a horse.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm a Sagittarius, and that's
Me
like
too.
this. Oh, you're Sagittarius?
Dude,
what's cracking, man?
Like, shoot, I don't know. Like,
bro, let's go explore the Alps right now. Let's book a flight. We'll be in the middle of nowhere. We could 6 feet. It'll be great. We'll just climb up the mountain.
One day I hope to do that for sure. All right. Next question: partner work or footwork?
Ooh, I got questions to this. All right. In what setting? Is this like just a preference on what I like, or is this like I need a little bit of context in it?
All right. If we're gonna do this, and I love that because Carlos Cinta, my guy, definitely kind of he gave me some education on it. But to bring it in more context, if right now someone said, "Hey, you got a choice right now. You can do only partner work with this social dancer or footwork," what would it be?
I mean, it's so hard.
I know.
All right, so before COVID, I would have said partner work.
Okay.
Post-COVID, it shines only because I'm used to being by myself, just working on footwork. That's where I've been at. Okay. But I mean, I love them both so much. I know. Because if I'm doing just to shine, it's just me. It's more about like feeling myself and being precise and being dramatic, but also being very, very, very intricate. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to partner work, it's more about connection. It's more about not about so much about what I can do, it's about what we can do together. Mm. So, and I like that too because you don't get that anywhere else. Like I talked this with my friends. Like, think about it. Where else in the entire world can you walk up to a random stranger, not say any words to them, go forehead to forehead with this person, get very, very close, put your leg in between their legs, move their body, hug and say thank you for 3 minutes?
I don't know many other places, industries, communities. Yeah, we can't.
There's none. There's no other place in the world, and this is why bachata is beautiful because there's no other place you can do it. There's ballet dancers. You don't really have a lot of ballet social dancers. Mm-hmm. Think about that. But bachata, salsa, cumbia, kizomba, merengue, like you can all do it socially. And that's the beauty of it, is that because ballet, you can't really do it socially. Not really. Mm-hmm. But Latin dancing, it's a whole nother level now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Next question. What would be your superpower?
Superpower. Wow. Someone's asked me this question before. I think it was like a tie. It was in between having the ability to talk to animals and I think the ability to travel different planets.
Oh yeah, like teleportation.
Yeah, but like I wouldn't stay here on Earth. Like I would go
Gotcha.
to like Mars. I would go to like Saturn. Like I'll go like
Mm.
4 million light years that way and just be on a planet like, okay, do y'all speak English? Like, you know.
I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Next question. I need one don't for people that want to dance with you. And then to bring more context, what is something that you do not like a follow to do when they're dancing with you?
Don't wrestle with me. Meaning, if I have my frame engaged and you feel my frame, this doesn't mean for us to do this. We shouldn't be wrestling with each other. Like we should be connecting with each other. That's probably my biggest thing. As far as the lead goes, just kind of connect with me. I can try my best. I'm not perfect at it. Sometimes I have a social dance where I'm really feeling myself and I'm focusing more on myself. I
Mhm.
do it. But I have other times where I'm like, okay, let's do this together. But when I'm at that point where let's do this together, and you're like doing all this stuff, trying to move your hips, just understand your hips don't come from your shoulders. Your hips come from where you're putting your weight placement at. And you shouldn't be doing this too much with me. You should be doing more primarily with your hips. Yes?
Ah, I love that answer. You just got to be honest about that. And at least before we finish our last two questions, big shout out to Nestor. I'm in Willian.
Oh, Nestor, what's
Yes, all the way
up?
from Sydney,
Dude,
my brother. Oh man, I love Nestor, what he's been doing out
man.
there. Big shout out.
Nestor has been going through a battle and a
Yeah.
half, and he's been knocking it out the park. So,
Yes.
Nestor, thank you so much, man. You're an inspiration. You're taking your journey and you're putting it on Facebook, and you're showing that people can get through this. So, shout out to Nestor. He's a real MVP. This ain't about us no more. It's about him, dude.
Yeah, man. Big shout out to Nestor and as well Brianna showing some love to you right now through these questions
Brianna.
here.
Heart.
And, and now, second to last question is: what is a special talent that you have?
A special talent. It can range from whatever.
Anything.
I can rock climb.
Oh, I mean, that's a talent, trust me, because I mean, trying to after the first 3, 4 rocks from people, I'm good. I'm done.
Yeah, I started rock climbing. So for my last birthday,
Mhm.
I did this thing where I climbed what was it, like almost like 1,000 feet in one day. And it was because basically the rule is on your birthday as a rock climber, you climb the same amount of routes as your age. And I just turned 30.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, so I'm gonna do these 30 routes. So I started probably about 11 in the afternoon. I didn't finish about 8, so it took me about 6, 7 hours to complete. But I did it. I climbed every single route. I didn't do it perfect. I wanted to quit midway because I was like, I'm tired. But towards the end of it, I got this weird kick. Like I
Yeah.
went like probably like 6 or 7. Like I think I did one route about 4 or 5 times back to back.
Hmm.
And because mind you, these routes are about 60 feet high. So if you do it once, that's 60 feet. You do it twice, that's 120. So imagine doing that 4 or 5 times, and you're like, oh, okay, you're going.
Mm.
So that's my special talent. I love it. It's what I do to stay fit. It's a core workout, it's a chest workout, it's a back workout, keeps my glutes nice and tight. So yeah, I'd say
Right.
that's my talent.
Perfect. And last question here, I'm going to change it up.
All right.
If people could describe you in one word, what would it be?
Ooh, people could describe me in one word. Um, I'm always in a good mood. Like, that's not a word.
Would you say like jovial?
Jovial. Wow.
See, I'm outside of the box.
Okay, diamond. Yes,
Come on, man.
jovial. Yes.
Sagittarius,
Okay.
Sagittarius season is all season. I'm sorry. I mean,
Facts.
so I would say
Out
would
there.
jovial be the word then?
Yes, it would.
Okay.
It absolutely would. Yes, jovial indeed. Yes. I'm never in a bad mood. I'm always trying to find the light of everything, no matter what's happening. Like we talked about before. This conversation. That's a situation that's kind of dampering, but it's okay. Because it's a part of life. Everything that you go through, it makes you grow. It's all about perspective. Like no matter what can happen to you in your life, you have control over your emotions. Whether you decide to get sad about it or you decide to use it as ammunition, that's your choice. And my choice is to take everything that happens and convert it to fuel because I just want to keep going further and further and further. So that's how I look at it.
That's awesome, man. And thank you again for doing this segment. And now it brings us to the conclusion of our discussion. And like I've told you and many other guests, I feel like this interview in the beginning, it truly is a part one, hopefully many more parts that we have. And it's been honestly a pleasure being able to have this discussion with you and building, because that's what I think all of us should do as artists in this community. It's not just about how great the routines can be, or what we can learn from them in dancing, but also just understanding people as human beings and understanding we have a life of our own. We go through so many things, our ups and downs, and just through conversation. I think, again, starting the conversation is where change comes. And I would say definitely tonight has been amazing, catching up with you as well through Facebook, but now even through virtual. Me feeling like I've learned so much more about you, and it's been amazing time having you tonight. But before we go, do you have any last words for myself and the audience, but also contact info on how people can reach you?
Sure. Let's start with the contact info. You can reach me on Facebook, which is just Bacha Hop, BACHAHOP. It'll link you to my profile or my Facebook profile, Ivan. If you want to get to know a little bit more about me and class events that I got going on, I'm posted on there. You can also add me on just regular Facebook, Angel Ivan Cruz. Angel's my first name, Ivan's my middle. You can reach me on Instagram, which is Bacha Hop, same thing, BACHAHOP. Yeah, I mean, feel free to message me, ask me questions. I always have an open door policy. The last thing I want to leave with everyone here is that if you're an instructor, if you're a beginner, you're a student, my biggest tip to everybody here is whichever direction you're going in, go into it with an intent.
Mm.
And what I mean by that is that anything that the mind can, perceive, you can achieve.
Mm.
So hypothetically, if we want our community to grow to a higher level, we have to intentionally go in specific directions. Let's say, hey, I want bachata to be the biggest platform of dance ever. Okay, what are we intentionally doing to put it on that map?
Yeah.
My idea is say, hey, why don't we take two cultures and let's combine them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's combine forces with hip hop and bachata, because we got hip hoppers that have so much flavor. But
Mm-hmm.
then when you start talking about hips, they are done. I won't even show up to a bachata class because I can't do all this hip thing. Yeah, but you can sit here and analyze your sub counts like none other, right? But then the bachatars, when you go to hip hop, they're saying I can't do hip hop because I have no idea what we're doing. Yes, but you can keep your counts. So dance is the same thing on both sides of it. It's just different aspects of it. So no matter which direction you're going in, just keep it in your mind. I'm gonna go somewhere with intention. I'm gonna say, hey, say I'm going to this dance class, not just because I want to learn a new count, a new step. I'm going to this dance class because I had a hard week and I'm looking for a stress relief. I'm gonna go to this congress because I want to touch somebody there. I want to make a friend. And that is what kind of is the catalyst to a bigger, brighter future for all of us. So that's my biggest thing. I'm big about hip hop, I'm big about bachata, but the main thing that I focus on is mental health and personal growth. I love all you guys. If you guys ever want to reach out to me, my door will always be wide open. Thank you again so much, Diamond, for having me. I appreciate it so much, man. All the way from Chicago to New York New York. Thank you so much. Yeah, man. It was really a pleasure today, bro.
Thank you again. And everyone again that's tuned in, I would say as well, Angel, definitely check out the comments. There's some comments here I probably haven't put out yet, but I think you're going to love them. But everyone, I thank you all for tuning in to a really special episode of the Live Discussion with Diamonds podcast. I myself, Diamond, here with Angel Ivan Cruz. We've had an amazing building session, and be on the lookout. We're definitely going to have Angel Ivan Cruz back on the platform talking about Congress experiences. That's going to be my next topic. So we're going to get really interesting on that. But again, thank you all for tuning in. Everyone, please stay safe and hope to see you soon. Thank you, everyone. Be safe. Have a great